Hey, this is David Wynn with the Mortgage Edge podcast brought to you by the Velocity Mortgage Team. Hey, today we got a very special guest, Rex Andrews from Lubbock, Texas. Rex, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Lubbock, West Texas. We know you're a successful realtor. Tell us a little bit about that journey and how you got started. When did you become a realtor?
When I was 54 years old, I'd done a lot of things. I'd been a Mr. Mom. I worked for Adolph Coors Company for about 10 years, and then I got married my first go round, and my wife wanted me to go to college, and so I just won a nationwide Salesman of the Year competition, and that was held in Dallas. And but the owners of my distributorship, they also had racehorses, and they were having some horses run in California that Saturday. It was like a 3 day competition. When the competition was over, we were supposed to get on the plane and leave and go watch his horses run. And they pulled Bruce aside, my boss, and they said, "Bruce, y'all can't leave tonight because we're presentations tomorrow." He said, "We don't have to stay for the presentation." And they said, "Yeah, you do, because Rex won." So he was like, "Oh, great." So we go watch his horses run. I'd won some money and a gold belt buckle and some stuff. And I put all the money that I won on his horses to win. He had two horses running in the, uh, in the horse races. And if I was funny, his son said, "Man, don't put all that money on those horses." He said, "Just put a little bit." I said, "No, I didn't have it yesterday. I might as well do it." So I did, and the horses won. So I doubled my money basically. So I came back Monday morning and went in Bruce's office, and he said, "Have your feet hit the ground yet?" I said, "Yeah, I guess." He said, "So what are you going to do now?" And I said, "I quit." And he said, "You what?" And I said, "I quit, Bruce." I said, "I've gone as high as I can go here." I said, "I want to enroll in Texas Tech University, and I want to get my college degree." And he stood up and come around the desk and hugged me, started crying. And of course I did too. He's like a father figure to me. But he said, "If you'd have said anything else, I would have not have let you go. But if you're going to continue your education," he said, "do me a favor." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I want you to be my brewery rep on campus for the next 4 years." So he gave me a car, let me, I got a vehicle to drive while I was going to tech. And then when I graduated, I stayed in the same industry. It was a beverage industry. I went to work for Snapple Natural Beverages. They were out of California, out of New York. Stayed with them a couple of years. My wife got pregnant, and for the next 12 years, I was a Mr. Mom, and best job I ever had, most rewarding job I ever had for sure. But I got to coach football, baseball, basketball, softball, soccer. I mean, it was just a good time. I met a lot of people doing that. Uh, and then I've got involved in West Texas Home Builders. I used to be a roofer. Had a lot of friends in West Texas Home Builders. Got involved in that organization, and I started doing philanthropy type stuff. I was chairman for Make a Wish Foundation here in West Texas. We had our you're supposed to roll off every 4 years, but for some reason I stayed 10. I don't know why. It was a good organization. It's they help sick kids, life threatening diseases and stuff. Just make a wish and go wherever they want to go. And so we raised a lot of money for that. And the day I rolled off of that organization, the American Heart Association picked me up and wanted me to chair that organization for a couple of years. And I did. I was also chairman of the board at a bank here in Lubbock, a credit union, Alliance Credit Union. And I had been on the board for a couple of years when one of my buddies taught me, and he actually worked for me at Alliance. He was a CFO. And when he left Alliance, he went to get his real estate license. And he said, "Rex, I want you to go to real estate school with me." And I said, "I ain't wasting my money on that crap. I wouldn't be a good realtor." And he said, "No, I think you would." And I said, "No, I don't think I will." So he called me. He said, "Hey, your classes start Monday." And I said, "What classes?" He said, "Your real estate classes." I said, "Lee," I said, "I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for that stuff." He said, "You don't have to. I paid for it." So he paid out of his pocket for me to go to real estate school. So I felt obligated. I went. halfway through the classes, he quit and he opened a title company. He had opportunity to purchase a title company, and I stayed in, got my license. Didn't know what I was going to do. Went to Keller Williams, walked in one day and said, "Hey, I got my license. You know what I do?" I had no clue what I was doing, and I started with Keller Williams, and I'm still there. I mean, they're it's great. They're a great organization, great teaching, training place to go to work for. They stay up to date on all the, like I said, IT stuff, the word I can't spell, and
What year was that, Rex? Was that
that was
2015?
in 2015. It was December of 2015. I sold my first house January 1st of 2016. So that's my at Keller Williams. You have a cap date, a date you cap. Once you cap, you get to keep 100% of your commissions. Uh, so in the first year, it took me, I think, 6 months to cap, and then ever since then, I usually cap out in January, by the mid January, the end of January. This year, I capped out January 31st on the last day of January. So, but it's been, I can't think of anything else that I could go start a brand new career that you know nothing about and have this amount of success. Uh, I mean, whether you know if I went to law school or medical school or whatever, to make the kind of money you can make as a realtor, you know, you got to go 8 years of college or you know more training. Real estate school took me a week. You know, you learn the basics, and then you learn most of it by boots on the ground. You know, by being out there and actually dealing with people. I have a lot of clients.
Well, all I've heard, Rex, is this: you're never too old or too young to start a new career. You started a brand new career at the age of 54, and it sounds like this is going to be your forever career. But with you, I don't discount that. I mean, were you working before you became a realtor, or what were you working?
I was, like I said, I was full time Mr. Mom, but once my kids got you know 12 years old or older, and I was their room mother and all that stuff. I mean, I was heavily involved in that. But through that, I made a lot of connections. In real estate, you know, they tell you get on the phone and call people all day, every day, and say, "Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell or invest in real estate?" And honestly, I've never called anybody. Uh, but I just hate bugging people. I hate calling them, asking them, "Do you have a friend or you want or you know that needs to sell a house?" I've kind of approached it differently. I love being bugged. When people call me, I answer. Uh, but I don't have a set time to sit down and call people and ask them if they, you know, looking to sell anything in real estate. But I do make myself available. That's why I said 24/7, 365. Uh, I'm open because real estate never sleeps. I mean, honestly, if you can get in real estate and you can make money while you're sleeping, you're doing something right. So, a lot of my buddies, other realtors and stuff, they've gotten into fix it and flip it, and I got into that too a little bit. I was a GC, owned a construction business while I was doing real estate, and I built a 204 unit apartment complex, a Class A apartment complex here in Lubbock. Uh, and I actually had it under contract for $32 million, and that's of course that'd been the biggest payday I've ever had in my life. But it actually fell out the day of closing. The commercial interest rates went up the day we were supposed to close, and the people buying the apartment building, they backed out. They had to leave $320,000 of earnest money on the table because they backed out. But they have a right to back out, but they backed out because the interest rates went up, and it didn't make their numbers work. So I've had some highs and lows for sure. Uh, but my steady income, my steady stream of money comes from just
How the
residential
heck are
real
you a
estate, just
GC
going
with
out
being a
there.
full time realtor? You just knew how to do it, or?
Uh, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was an experience, but I loved it. I mean, I made a lot of connections on the commercial side of real estate doing that. So I do both commercial, residential, land, ranches, farms, but my bread and butter is
Yeah,
one to four family.
yeah. Was it so? Let me ask you: was that an investment group that bought it? Was it a single person that was trying to buy that apartments?
It was an investment group, and as a group, once the interest rates went up, it was back in about 21. We weren't completely through with the apartments yet. We were still in the building stage, but as we built them, we would fill as we built. We always had 100% occupancy, and we always had a waiting list. So, but and it's under contract again now. It's supposed to sell in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Uh, but as far as the GC part, I'm not doing. Once we've completed this building, I didn't continue on the GC part. I'm just focusing solely on real estate.
Man, all I've heard is you wear a lot of different hats, Rex, and you still wear a lot of different hats.
I do. I'd rather be busy than bored any day.
So I gotta go back. So how old's your kid now?
My son graduated the Marine Corps and got married and made me a grandfather in November was a year. And my daughter, he's 30, born in 95. So yeah, he was 30 this month or February. And then my daughter's 28. So I've got one boy and one girl and one granddaughter. And then I've got my
That's awesome.
stepdaughter actually works with me. She's the fuel that runs my engine on the real estate side. Uh, she sets all my appointments and stuff like that. But you've got to have a good admin to do the kind of volume I do. And then,
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the amazing part about it. And I was going to tell the people, most people that are doing the amount of transactions you do have a pretty big team. It's you. If they're calling you for assistance with
mhm,
real estate, they get Rex.
right.
They get you show them, you
And
list
that's
it,
why it's
you
been
do
hard for me to
everything.
start a team. They call and they say, Rex, I want you to show me a house. It's hard to send somebody else when they're asking for me. Now, my future son-in-law actually went to work for me, and he was on my team for about a year and a half, and he did really, really good. He did so good that he went with another real estate company because he he likes the wholesale side of it. He likes buying and flipping and stuff like that. And that just wasn't my style. When I buy a house or when I list a house, I try to get the seller the most possible money I can get for it. And when I buy a house, I try to get it for the least amount I can get for it. As wholesalers, they're just kind of going in and buying it for themselves. Then they put a lot of money into it, and then they sell it, 2 times as much as they paid for it, which is another whole nother real estate game.
Yeah.
I just I wasn't good at that side of it. I don't, somebody's parent died or they inherited something, they go in there and they try to get it for the least amount possible because it's a money maker for them on the other side. They fix it up, then they market it and sell it. Uh, I've actually Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, he has a top 100 agents out of all his agents in the world, and they come from worldwide. He'll have twice a year or once a quarter sometimes. He'll invite all his top 100 agents, and uh, I thought it was to find out how to do more and be more and grow your business. And I found out he was trying to he actually is trying to get from us what's working for us so he can share it with everybody else, which is great idea. Gary Keller's a brilliant man. But I asked him one time. I said, as starting a team, I said, should you hire family? And he said, no, next question. It was kind of funny because there's about 80 of this 100 group of 100 top agents in the room. And everybody kind of laughed. And he said, no, Rex, I was just pulling your leg. But, seriously, what member of your family are you thinking about putting on your team? I said, well, it's my future son in law. He said, the answer again is no. Next question. So he was just kind of, you know, beating about the bush. But he came back to him and he said, Rex, tell me this. What are the chances that your future son-in-law is going to be the person that makes your team successful? What are the chances that he's the one? You feel more like you're forced into putting him on your team, or you want to put him on your team, or you just want to give him a shot? And I said, I really don't know. I've never had a team. Uh, Not very good at it. But he did. He got on my team, and as a two-man team, we were like number 4 or 5 on the team stuff, and we were up against teams of 10, 12, 8. But I had been the top single listing agent and the top single um selling agent and the top total volume agent for like 5 or 6 years in a row. And the 2 years that he was with me, I didn't get that because I was a team. Uh, I still had sold more and listed more than other agents, but as a team, you count both of your stuff, but both of your numbers. And I think he did good his first. I think he sold 12 or so his first year, maybe 20 his second year, which is really unheard of. Uh, and then he had an opportunity to go with a group of guys that's man, they were just blowing it up. He actually got we have a magazine here. It's called Top Producers, and he actually got Rising Star this year on, I think it was the January or February cover. I was on the cover of January 2021 as a top producer, and then they'll have a subsection of a Rising Star. So they'll have a top producer on the cover, and then on the inside they'll have a Rising Star. And he got Rising Star this year, so I'm really proud of him. He's done really well, and I encouraged him to go out on his own. I said, "Don't ride my coattails." I said, "You got to make a name for yourself because the people I use, the people that I've associated with, when they need a realtor, they call me. They're not going to call you. They're going to call me. So you need to get your own plumbers, your own electricians, your own builders, your own repair people, and make a name for yourself." And he's done that. For 20, I think he's 24 years old, and by the time he's my age, he won't have to be working. So
That's an amazing story. Well, let's talk about the real estate market in Lubbock. How talk to us about it. It's a healthy market, man.
Lubbock is, I don't know if you remember George Bush or Senior. Uh, he said at one time, he said, "If it's okay with Lubbock, it's okay with me." The Bushes were from Midland, so they know the West Texas area, but they call Lubbock the biggest little city in the world, and it really is because it's a small town for numbers, but it's a college town. And when Tech's in town, that adds another 50,000 people. I was telling you, I can't tell you the amount of money I've made off kids sending their, I'm sorry, parents sending their kids to Texas Tech because instead of paying dorm rental, they'll buy, $150,000 home, put 3 or 4 guys in it, charge them 500 a piece, and they actually make money while their kids going to Tech. And then in 4 years, they turn around and I list it and then I sell it to another parent that's kids are going to Tech. So it's been really helpful to be plugged in with Texas Tech. I've got A&M properties right now. They were the beneficiary of these properties being left, and for the last 3 weeks, I've been getting these ready to list. It's actually 4 different properties with 7 different doors that are rentable: a duplex, 2 houses, and then a big, huge house that the lady actually lived in. But it's I wake up every day thinking, what's going to happen today? Uh, if I'm thinking, where's your next paycheck coming from? God has always provided. I mean, I get worried. Like when COVID hit, I fell on my face and prayed. I said, "What am I going to do?" The realtors were considered non-essential. Basically, it's not. We couldn't. It didn't say we couldn't go to work. It didn't say we had to go to work. It's just we were non-essential. And that year of COVID, the first year of COVID, 2019, that was my biggest year I've ever had. And I thought I was going to be looking for a job. So it's real estate is definitely not predictable.
Yeah.
But when you say, is it a down market? Is it an up market? I've got enough clients that it really doesn't matter where the market's at because I've got some investors that they buy when the market's down, and then I got other ones that sell when the market's up. So if you just stay in it, if you just put your cleats on, put your helmet on every day and go get on the field and play, be there for the game, you're going to get, you'll get the ball every now and then. So like I said, I can't think of anything else. I mean, anything else that I could do that number one is this much fun. Number two, that can produce the kind of money you can make if you stay plugged in. And you hear different averages. They say average realtor sells 10 houses a year. I can't imagine selling 10 houses a year because I'd go broke. I'm very good at spending money. I'm not good at making. I'm good at making it, but I'm also good at spending. But I'm horrible at saving. But Gary, I was get back to Gary Keller. He said, Rex, you get all these deals. You got all these investors that you get all these great deals for. You need to get some of those deals for yourself. You need to start buying houses and fixing them up and renting them out. He said that would be, a side income. I just have not been able to take that next step. I'm so busy getting houses for my client. I hadn't even looked at a house for myself. But he said, you get the pick of the crop. You're the first one to seize it. You're the first one who gets to list it. You can buy that at whatever price you're going to list it for and build a little side business. Now, Gary Keller has been very, very successful. And he said the only time, I'll never forget, he told me the only time he's ever lost money in real estate is when he sold something. Because as long as you own real estate, it's going to increase in value day after day after day. Uh, it's one of the only commodities that you can buy that appreciates. Anything else you buy, new car, motorhome, boat, whatever you buy, the day you take it off the lot, it starts to appreciate and it's less, less, and less and less every day. Real estate, you buy a house, it increases in value every single day. So as long as you maintain it and upkeep it. Uh, it's amazing that like the house my parents bought, they built brand new here in Lubbock was $15,000 in 1962, and now that same house is 200,000. So it's a good little savings program to have too. If you own real estate, it's just like having a savings account. So
Sure is. So it's just you and the wife at home now?
just me and the wife, yes sir. I wanted her to work with me as a husband wife team because at Keller Williams, if you're married and you have a team, it's just your cap is counted as it's a combined cap. So both of your sales go towards that 100% commission. But she just had knee surgery and she just it's not her cup of tea as of yet. She enjoys me being in real estate, but she doesn't. She's got other interests. So, but we actually dated in high school when we were 16, and then we got back together 4 days after I became a realtor. So she's been on this ride with me since day one. And if I'm out at 4 o'clock in the morning, she's not wondering if I'm out doing something. She knows I'm out getting the house ready to list the next day. So it's been, very beneficial to have somebody, a partner with you that understands your schedule, which I don't have a schedule. People say, hey, can I schedule time with you 12 o'clock next Tuesday? I said, I got no clue what I'll be doing 12 o'clock next Tuesday. I may be listing the house because my customers do come first. If they want to list something or they want to see something, I drop what I'm doing to go do that. As you can tell, we've had several calls during this interview, and it's my some of my better clients, but they'll understand. They're not only my clients; they're my friends. Uh, I don't just do real estate with them. We end up, going to lakes together, go fishing together, and do stuff together because they are my friends. My goal in life truly was to find something I love doing and call it work, and I've been able to do that.
All right, that's awesome. Well, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but I know you're busy. Like you said, you've already missed several calls, and if I keep you on, that's just so much later that you're going to do. What should we have talked about that we didn't talk about today, Rex?
Um, I guess some of the opportunities real estate brings you. I told you about the mortgage company that I helped start at the credit union. It's one of the largest mortgage companies in Lubbock now. Um, and we hadn't even thought about being a mortgage company because we didn't have the people. And then I've had several mortgage companies approach me. I've actually got my loan officer license, so it's nice to be a one-stop shop. Uh, when somebody can call me and they say, most people don't know the first thing about buying a house. They really don't. They say, can we go look at houses? And I can't tell you the number of houses that I've showed before I even asked the person what's their credit score. And then they find out that they don't even have 2 years job history. So, you waste a lot of times. But I built a friend and they'll call me later on when they get in this shape to buy a house. But if you can take a person, find out their credit score, find out their job history, find out, if they have any liens or anything, if you have all those resources, it makes your job a lot easier and it makes their job a lot easier too. Uh, like the mortgage deal you came up with, the one click deal or whatever you were saying. It's great when I can just pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, here's the name, here's their contact, and then that's all I got to do. The next day you find out, okay, this is what they can afford. Go buy this, or go start looking at this. You don't waste a lot of time looking at $250,000 house when they can only afford $100,000 house. Or you don't waste a lot of time looking at a $500,000 house when they can afford a $750,000 house. So being versatile, having the right connections to go to once a person comes to me and calls and says, I want to buy a house. There's a lot of steps. I mean, there's a lot of people involved from that conversation until closing. And if you got connections or ties with each person in that line, then you make it easy on yourself and you make it easy on your client. So it makes the buying process a lot easier. And that's not something they teach. That's just something you learn.
Well, I love it that we were able to partner up, even though you do have your own mortgage company. So
Well, no, I don't. I said I helped start one. I'm not even involved with Alliance anymore. I'm not on the board anymore. I'm busy doing real estate, but I do use a variety of lenders because they offer so much more.
right,
I mean, some lenders they have connections all over the country. Some just you got to go by their policies here locally, and if they don't qualify, they don't get a house. I don't take no for an answer. I'll call the next person, say, look, this one's a little unusual. Might have to think outside the box. But usually, if somebody really, really wants a house, they'll get it one way or another. There's people out there that will loan money, even if they got bad credit. There's hard money lenders. There's a lot of different ways to get people qualified. And if you don't realize that, and you just say, "Hey, sorry, that lender said you can't afford to buy a house," lenders, you don't have to take no for an answer. The first person that can't get them qualified, there's
absolutely,
always another phone
absolutely.
call I'll make.
Well, Rex, if I'm in Lubbock and I want a good realtor, there's only one man I'm calling. That's Rex Andrews. How do the people out there get a hold of you if they want to use you?
Well, you got to get a catchy number, I think. Something easy to remember, but my number's 806-777-6556. Uh, it's funny, a lot of people, they say, I've got you saved in my phone. I got you saved in my phone. They can remember my number without saving it in the phone, which is, it's good to have that. But yeah, just call me. I always answer. If I don't answer a call, I'm because I'm on the phone with another client. Like I said, 4 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter. I'll answer.
That's awesome. Well, if you're watching this live, folks, because I know we are a podcast, but we do air it live. You saw that go across the lower thirds. If I'm out there looking for real estate in Lubbock, Texas, there's only one man I'm calling. That's Rex Andrews. You get the full deal. You get a life story, and he's going to give you the best deals out there for real estate. Well, I'm your host, David Wynn, with the Mortgage Edge podcast. Thanks for
David,
being
thanks
with
for
us
having
today,
me.
guys. We'll see you later.